Welcome everyone to part 2 of the real estate panel. We had a beautiful real estate panel before, and I think Talia was so inspiring, and she gave us such a positive energy for all of us to continue. I am Paola Cacilambri. I'm the Vice President of Emerald Real Estate. I'm going to be your moderator for today. I represent a Jewish family, actually the Viber family, for those who don't know. It's the family behind the successful sale of Viber that we have on our phones for 900 million. But what a lot of people don't know is that Viber was actually a company registered in Limassol, for tax reasons, of course. So when they sold it, the family is doing real estate, of course, in Miami and New York. They are all over the place with their gold mines and diamond mines in Africa, and then innovation and technology, the younger generation of the family, of course. But Cyprus has a very special place in their heart, and they consider it to be their lucky country. So I think I will disagree a little bit with the previous moderator that we are a small country and we have crisis after crisis. Yes, but we have a great potential. And we attract a lot of high net worth clients, and we always manage to shine like a diamond, bright in the sky. So, I represent the family, the company. We're one of the newest development companies in real estate. We just have 3 projects in front of the casino, branded Radisson luxury residences, and we're just sticking to that step by step, but we're always open for joint ventures and investments with other companies and other projects. And having said that, I'm also a mom to a 14-year-old who currently is limiting his vocabulary to, okay, no, I'm going to go to my room, don't talk to me. So I hope I'll get my son back one day. And I'm married to Chris Rushodis, who's in the other room talking about entrepreneurship and innovation, a Columbia professor and a VC founder. So if you have a startup or anything, go visit him as well. Okay, don't go running out of here. Stay. All right, that's enough about me. And I have a beautiful panel today with 2 beautiful ladies, 2 handsome gentlemen. And we are also connected, Cyprus and New York, here on this panel as well, just to let you guys know. I will start from Anastasia Yanni, CEO of Sotheby's International Realty. Anastasia, I've known for more than a decade, not only as an amazing professional, but also as a person with a gold heart and an amazing mom to Sasha and Nicholas, who's in the same class with my son for over 10 years now. So you can always trust Anastasia for all your transactions. Executive Director of Cyfield, Mrs. Despina Chrysochos. When I spoke with Despina, it was so funny because I said, oh, you know Despina, I know your brother George. And he's like, yeah, everybody knows George because we meet in many, many other conferences. But it's so good to have you here. Cyfield is one of the largest development companies. So we have a lot to talk about today. And then Panayotis Vladimiru, one of the most beautiful projects in Limassol, Limassol Greens. He's the head of sales and business development. And all the way from New York, Dimitrios Komodromos. We have a lot of Komodromos in Paphos. Are you related? I'm from Paphos. Sorry, guys. Huh? Okay, all right. I thought we would be relatives, like half of Cyprus. So he's the founding partner of Method Design, Architect and Urbanism. So it's so amazing having you here because you live in New York, you've seen it all. I believe you're way ahead of us, but I really would like your input in Cyprus. So since our panel is also focusing a lot on real estate and digitalization and AI and everything that is happening, I'm going to start with Anastasia because the past few years, Sotheby's has such an amazing online presence, and I want to know how you guys do it. I see you on webinars, you have a beautiful website, you have beautiful social media, and you have all these amazing properties. People love you, people trust you. How do you do it? I want to know.
Can you hear me? I think the answer is we just do it. But we do it because we love what we're doing. We have passion, we have our values. You know, again, with our company, and that's what Talia was saying before, you need to have alignment of values. Values within the company, values within the business, and also values which are always transfer what value to bring to your clients. Why are you getting your money? And you know, one of our values is expertise. And we want to share the expertise. We want educated clients. We want the clients to make the decision that make them happy. What I'm always telling to my team that, guys, our ultimate goal that in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years, when the client meets you, he smiles and he's happy. So with our digital presence, I'm very lucky we have amazing, very talented marketing team. We go with the philosophy of marketing 360. So we don't choose just one channel. We go everywhere. And we go everywhere with, again, not just to be there, but just to add to the client's experience. Again, with all what we do, our job becomes easy. Because when the client sees us, they say, you know what, we feel like we know you. We feel that we met you, we visited your webinars, we're very grateful for all the knowledge. We know you, so can we work with your team? So of course, that's the answer.
I guess, Anastasia, and what you just said, which is precious, it enhances what Talia told us before, that social media presence builds credibility. So we need to get out there, as shy as we may be.
But I think I would add here that presence for the sake of presence, if there is no substance, then it's just pictures.
Exactly.
And I think that now, and this is the next step of the development of the perception of the media, I think very soon people will see, okay, you know what, this is chat-generated post. There is nothing personal there. This is the picture with gazillion filters. There is nothing there. I think this is the next step of development, that, you know, you need to have a substance and build your presence on the substance.
I totally agree, and that actually is amazing. It gives me the pass to you, Panayoti, because we were discussing about how strong online presence Limassol Green has, and how you guys are evolving your technologies and social media, etc. But then the question arises on how risky is it, or how opportunistic is it for an investor who is relying heavily on what he sees online? I mean, how do you deal with that?
Actually, you're right. We need to take into consideration that online presence is one thing, and it gets the attention of the international buyers, especially projects like Limassol Greens require, let's say, a lot of international investors to be sustainable in terms of sales. I wish many more Cypriots could invest, even though we have as number 2 Cypriot buyers in our project, but still, predominantly it's international buyers. And what's important is that don't stop at the image you see online. You need to dig deeper, and you need to do your due diligence. You need to consult professionals of the industry, like real estate agents, and Sotheby's is doing amazing, one of the most educated agencies on the island, and I'm glad that we're working together. Like engineers, like architects, like law firms. I mean, it's important to get the professional advice. Okay, I can show whatever I want theoretically online, but you need to check who is behind the project, who is a developer. I mean, Lanidis Group and the Maltese consortium behind Limassol Greens go years behind. I mean, 250 years of combined experience. So it's important to know who's backing the project, where are you putting your money in. And yes, I mean, a combination of online presence and yes, do your digital research, use the tools available, and we have plenty, especially with AI, and many platforms are coming up and are helping buyers to make the process easier. But still, don't forget that face-to-face interactions, real conversations, real due diligence with professionals that you see them. I mean, don't chat with a professional that potentially might be an AI agent answering your
We're going to talk about that in a bit, because I really need your opinion, all of you. I need your opinion on this, because everyone says, oh, AI is going to replace XYZ profession and this, but at the end of the day, we will see if in realistic we really replace humans and emotion. And hold that thought, because talking about AI, talking about technologies, Dimitrios, you're in New York. We've seen that architecture is going through a massive change with the assistant of technologies, VR, goggles. I mean, I know this because of a startup, Kinesis Ventures. My husband is supporting Ascanio. And when I put the goggles and we were looking at the architectural plans, and then all of a sudden I had a building in front of me, I was like, whoa. And then I was just moving my hands, and I was moving walls and then sofas, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, how do you deal with all this? And what's the landscape now in New York?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm also the president of the Cyprus U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and we actually hosted that event.
You're right.
Which was a great event. We had 4 technology companies from Cyprus come and present their technologies, and most of them had to do with AR, VR, all these type of technologies, which is amazing. So, I think we see a split in New York between international investors, and you see this in New York, you see it in Dubai, you see a little bit in LA, where the combination of things like Matterport systems, VR systems. Matterport is when you do the 3D scan and you can walk around the space, whether it's an old space or potentially a new space. Those technologies are used for international buyers buying for investment purposes, right? But we still see very, very much at the end of the day, especially in places like New York, the value is actually brought by working with a professional who has some sort of cachet within the industry, from a design perspective, from the ability to be able to say that there's some sort of innovation. Most of the new developments that have been most successful in New York have actually come back from this place of, having some sort of historical component combined with some sort of innovative contemporary component. And, the kind of AR, VR, these type of things are used as part of the sales pitch, right? But they don't actually replace walkthroughs, conversations with professionals, right?
Exactly.
We're actually seeing almost the opposite thing happen, where we're being brought on much earlier in the process, even in residential purposes. We've always done this on the commercial side, but doing, pre-purchase analysis of properties as the architect, actually using GIS and AI to help us understanding zoning, long-term prospects of the property, right? All of these type of things, right? It's kind of infiltrated from pre-purchase, design, construction, all the way through to post-occupancy, where we're censoring spaces and helping our clients understand what type of space that they're going to have from an energy perspective. So there's a lot going on, and I think the things that are the novel technologies, or the kind of like most obvious use cases, they come and they go fairly quickly, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And it's actually the deeper, more process-oriented technologies that have staying power.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. And
Despina, I'm coming to you because I just recalled the discussion before about Cyprus being in the market, Cyprus getting some global attention now. And I mean, hopefully soon we will have the attention of the US and gain some US investors. I think they just, pinned us on their maps. But in your opinion, you're leading one of the largest developers in Cyprus, Cyfield. And what, in your opinion, would make Cyprus to be more competitive as an investment destination compared to other countries? I mean, we
we hear so much about Dubai, for example. Everyone's running to Dubai for X, Y, Z reasons. But we are Cyprus. We love our country. We want people to come here and invest. So what's your take on that?
Hi, and good morning, everybody. I am Despina. So Cyprus has been an attractive destination for investment for quite some years now. And this comes mainly for 5 major areas. We have a stable economy. The financial markets provide long-term stability overall. We have fluctuations from times to times. But nowadays and recently, for instance, the banks have reduced their exposure to non-performing loans. They have decreased their interest rates. They have issued dividends last year. They have done so well, they are investing in acquisitions. As you may know, Eurobank bought Hellenic, and the story goes on.
And Alpha.
Astrobank
was it?
Astrobank,
Yes.
So we have a stable currency as part of the Eurozone, which doesn't compare to Dubai and other places around our Mediterranean area. We have showed stable and small growth, but stable. The government has been issuing a lot of close to €1 billion worth of infrastructure projects the last couple of years. That shows an appetite for spending, an appetite for job creation. Private companies have been doing well, and we see that from their expansion, their staffing needs. They require office space to upgrade and elevate their working environments. And we have a steady population growth, which is the key to maintain all this growth. And even though we are at the crosshair of 2 wars, we are still the destination that everybody chooses to find a safe place to stay. And in real estate, which is a big component in our GDP, there is we see a constant demand for both offices and housing. We see constant demand for both sales and leasing. And in housing, we see everywhere in the spectrum, from luxury living in the waterfront or in high-rise in the downtown Nicosia to small-size urban individual homes. We see, like I said earlier, companies and government agencies looking to expand their office needs. And we are very happy to see that the Land Registry Department last year, for the first time since 2008, after 2 cycles of financial crisis, they recorded the highest volume of transactions. And this is very good news for the industry, and you know, we're on a good track this year.
I think we overcame. Yes. I mean, it was mentioned before that we've been through a lot of crises, but somehow we always manage to rise above situations, because I think what distinguishes people here in Cyprus is that they're hardworking. They're hardworking people, because I think everybody has in their minds still that I need to leave something behind for my kids. It might not be an apartment or a villa, but some kind of legacy that they will remember their parents for. And you mentioned about the sales and the numbers, and I'm coming to you, Anastasia, because I know that you have a very successful insight that you release every 3 months, is it every quarter? I think. So you mentioned that the sales this year have been amazing. And I would like you to elaborate on that, please. And by doing so, I would like to hear your opinion about the trends and where we're heading with the data that you have in your hands.
Yes. As a company, we publish every quarter the report on residential properties. Because if you're in the business, you know that every transaction in Cyprus is recorded in the Land Registry. But the Land Registry publishes general data. So when we see a number of transactions, it's including land, commercial, industrial, residential. Because our main core activity, we deal a lot with commercial, not with industrial, but with land. But still the core business is residential. And we wanted to have an instrument where both our salespeople and the clients and the market as well, because actually I'm very happy to see that other professionals of the market use our data. I'm very happy to see that. So we wanted to provide the instrument that gives the real picture what is happening. You know, what is the number of transactions? What is the value of transaction? Because it's very interesting to see, and numbers say everything. You know, you can see huge growth in numbers, but the values are not there. What does it mean? It means that people are buying more reasonably priced properties. So we also do the part that I love. Somehow I'm fascinated about this part of the report when we show the buckets, you know, like how many properties within which budget was sold. Okay, so that is, I believe this is our offering to the market as well, and I love it. But what the report, not the report is just the statement of what is happening. But what we see in the market, I really like as well. I think that we are in one of the healthiest stages of the real estate market. And I've been working in Cyprus real estate for 24 years. So I think I've seen everything. I've seen the pre-EU craziness. I've seen the mortgage craziness when it was banks were begging, take the money, take the money. We don't care that you cannot repay it, but take the money, okay? So then the citizenship, everything. And I think now we have a very nice situation when almost for every property there is an end user. People are not doing speculations. People are not buying for citizenship, which, okay, I thought that it was an amazing program.
Yeah.
Being Russian, I can understand how important the second citizenship could be. So the core of the program was good, but being so passionate, we made it bad, okay? So, but now we have amazing situation when the people are buying with the exact understanding what they are doing. They're not planning to X3, X4, X5. They understand that either buy for themselves, so we will use it, or I want to have a passive income. But I understand that it's 3-4%. It's not 100%. So I think that it's healthy. Also, of course, we are sort of, Cyprus is a very lucky island. Wherever something happens, Cyprus benefits because it's an amazing place.
Yeah.
So yes, we have people coming because of horrific events. They're moving because of war, but they like it here. So now we see a huge movement when people came, they rented, now they're buying. We see that we all know taxes are great, but we talk with our clients and they say, you know what, we came for taxes, but now we love it here. Our life is better, our food is better, we are happier. So you see, we have this transition when the sort of the, not superficial, it's a wrong word, but something that was forced on people becomes a choice.
Yeah.
And this is really healthy, and I love it.
Yeah, and I think clients that they have families and children, when they see how the children can be freely and safely raised here under the sun, by the beach, growing in free spirit and free minds, I think that's when they lock the place here. And talking about the trends, I will come back to you, Panayotis, and looking ahead to 2025, I mean, what major trends do you see, like reshaping, like how the way projects like Limassol Greens are developed, they're marketed, they are sold? Like, do we have the audience for such projects?
Of course we do, and actually the fact that what Anastasia mentioned, that the stop of the citizenship program proved that projects like Limassol Greens are resilient in time because they don't rely on something superficial, artificial ways to force people to come to Cyprus. I mean, it's a project that people understand. Golf courses across the globe, people understand what they should expect from a project like this. And if I had to say three things, okay, sustainability, it's kind of an old-time classic nowadays, but it's a must. Buyers are expecting to have sustainable properties and sustainable living. And being at a golf resort like Limassol Greens, they should expect large landscaped gardens, large public green areas, amazing scenery, and at the same time, resilient projects and future-proof developments that are energy efficient, and at the same time, they last in time. I mean, things that will come up in the future, we're trying to build it in that way, and we are using the state-of-the-art technology on all verticals, which is very important. And at the same time, we see that lifestyle projects, and I'm happy to see other developers doing it, will be the thing, the hot topic, let's say, from 2025 onwards.
So basically, we see that clients are choosing quality projects, quality of life projects.
Quality of life projects, yes. I mean, in Limassol Greens, you should expect a golf course, you should expect wellness facilities, food and beverage options, community.
But I believe they are asking for these kind of things now. Before buying and when they're doing their due diligence, I believe that they're asking for it. And this brings me again to you, Dimitrios, because you live in New York. So visiting Cyprus and seeing the change over, let's say, the last 5 or 10 years, I mean, what is the shift that you feel as someone who's part of the diaspora? And you look from afar that, every time, there was not a tower before in the beachfront of Limassol, but and then you land and you're like, okay. And then there is a golf in the middle of Limassol.
I want to answer that, but if it's all right, I actually want to kind of use that to also answer your question that you posed to us.
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Because we've seen something really interesting in New York, which is, well, and just the U.S. in general, which is, if you mention the word Cyprus, most people didn't know where Cyprus was, right?
And we have to say Greece, and then they look at us, and then it's Mykonos.
That's right.
Yeah, we're next to Mykonos.
There's an automatic kind of categorization, right? It's Greek. Is it, are you Turkish? Are you Greek? Right? Like automatically, there's those kind of discussions, right? And I think it probably coincided with Brexit. I don't know if it's a cause and effect of that, but there was a clear shift everywhere from the U.S. government to the press, to people's kind of like cultural and social interests in Cyprus, all of a sudden emerged, right? Where all of a sudden we saw, U.S. officials traveling to Cyprus more often. We saw, very previously pro, or let's say almost like anti-Greece or anti-Cyprus media outlets like the New York Times. All of a sudden, all you saw was positive press about Cyprus, right? Just last week, the New York Times published an article about Cypriot firemen helping in Israel, right? And then all the press around Ukraine, all the press about the stability of Cyprus, also just positive press about Greece and repayment of loans, right? Like all of these things are giving this really interesting halo effect. And then, we're exploring right now opening an office in Cyprus to service American clients interested, right?
Amazing.
And we've got this dual effect of, older, wealthier clients who are looking for properties like Limassol Greens, but then also people our age who we are our peers, right? Because Despina used to be in New York as well, who are looking for the Brooklyn effect, right? People that are moving to Sicily. People are looking to, and Cyprus is now coming up. And one of the panels yesterday, the arts panel, one of the panelists was talking about this kind of like passive soft diplomacy or passive marketing. Like there was this Netflix movie about Cyprus. What was it? Do you guys know, with Harry Connick Jr., right? I mean, literally the amount of attention, the silliness of a movie, right?
Yeah.
And it's not silly, right? And I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but I think one of the things that's important in this is the role of the Cyprus government also has to. I think the Cyprus government has to step up, right? And encourage, everything from, tax breaks and, for movie making and the types of things that engender the conversations that reach farther than just the European borders. Because the American market is so huge, right? If we just take New York as a market and just not the rest of the US, people are looking for places like Cyprus. And when they come, they don't leave.
Exactly.
Right?
And I think, allow me to say, Dimitrios, I was previously, a couple of weeks ago, at a meeting with Savas Tsivigos,
right,
the president of AHEPA.
And it was his daughter, by the way, who was talking about the soft diplomacy, Elpida, who was on the arts panel yesterday. Yeah.
So we were at another panel, and there were people from Cyprus Invest there, and you know better that they say, oh, but we visit New York and we present the opportunities of Cyprus. And Mr. Tsivigos went like, yeah, but America is not just New York.
Yeah.
You have 50 states,
yeah,
and you haven't visited them. You just come once a year in New York, and you believe you promote Cyprus there. But, what about Florida? What about Chicago, Washington? And everyone was like, silent for a moment.
Yeah.
And although we say that, it would be a huge thing for Cyprus to have US investors, because our numbers, compared to the penthouse that Talia sold for 30 million, we are asking JVs, like 50%, joint ventures for 30 million. There are projects out there that they say, if I have an investor for 30 million, I'm going to give him for 50%, a whole project, a whole tower, or half of a hotel. So our numbers are very lucrative, I think, for someone in the US. But we need to get out there. I agree with you.
Yeah, and there's this pot of gold strategy of like, we come once and then the money's going to flow in. And that's not how it works.
No.
Right? You need sustained, multi-level strategic efforts in order for the word to just always be at people's ear.
Exactly. Right? And being married with an American and coming back and forth in New York and then moving there permanently, I asked the question in this panel. I said, yeah, we want the Americans to come. We see the potential with the US, but can our mindset adapt to the fast-forward pacing mindset of US that they want everything yesterday, and we're kind of siga kumbare. So we really need to adapt and, speed up. I think that's my personal opinion, by the way, guys. So thank you for that. And coming back to Despina, and staying local. You've been in New York. I know that you really, really did some very important work in New York back there. She's so modest and humble. But I wanted to come back locally and ask you, what are our biggest challenges right now, especially in construction? Because I totally understand Despina. Being the vice president of a company, I don't just deal with sales. I was approving the order of iron and cement yesterday, and arguing with some workers. And I'm ordering kitchens next week. So it's kind of everything. You do everything. So what are the challenges? Because we all know we face challenges right now, and especially I think with staff. And what are solutions that you could, share with us, some thoughts?
So at Cyfield, we're also a construction company, not just real estate development. So we are exposed to most of the industries in the country. Let's break into two sections: the industry and real estate market. So industry. Human resource.
Oh, gosh.
It remains a huge problem. We have a very low unemployment rate. We're in a tight market. The lack of technical workers, like labor workforce, but also scientific professionals. And most importantly, their introduction and their integration into the system. For instance, truck drivers. That was so much needed for goods and shipping and construction and everything. In order to get a truck license, you need to speak Greek.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So
that's a huge
it's a huge barrier.
Oh,
exactly.
My gosh.
Doctors that are so much needed in healthcare facilities, hospitals, private clinics. In order to practice medicine, they need to speak Greek. So not even European citizens can practice medicine in Greek. So even though the Ministry of Labor late last year, they started this program where you can apply for workers from third countries. Third countries are countries out of the European Union. What we urge them to do is to, go through these obstacles of the language barrier.
Yeah.
Another important challenge is the cost of energy. In Cyprus, we have an unproportional, very high expense, and it's disproportionate to Cypriots' income.
Yeah.
So per capita, so their disposable income then it's affected. This affects households and businesses.
Yeah.
Businesses, in order to be more competitive, they need to have a low production cost so that their final product is at a more competitive price. And then more in our real estate industry, I think we suffer from bureaucracy.
Oh gosh.
And
you can say that again.
yes, so Cyprus, in order for Cyprus to become more competitive, we have to see a reduction in bureaucracy and digitalization of the process. Υπόδομος, for those who know, is the online system for permitting, which it slowly becomes a lot more easier, and it connects through other authorities.
Yeah.
And we really urge the ministry to make that connect with utility companies who are always delayed to attend construction schedule. And what I was, in another panel discussion with the Minister of Interior last month, I was like, yes, it's great for permitting, and thank you, but let's take it all the way to the title issue.
Oh, yes.
Because that's another...
That's a sweet spot.
That's a very important... it's a very important to close off your transaction. So I think this will make us more a competitive industry. And then the market, I think, our friends here, pretty much we talked about sustainability. It's not an old-timer, it's still like there. It's not just the clients who ask for it, the government has stricter their requirements.
Yeah.
But we have educated clients who are looking for sustainable building materials, sustainable equipment, things that will make their house make a low consumption of energy. They are educated about low carbon footprint, and they want little maintenance or a very durable material. And they are ready to invest in technology as smart home systems, even though it costs them a little more. So at Cyphil, because we are the A to Z, we do the design, we do the permitting, we do the construction, we do the after sales. So we are able to adjust and implement these new trends in the market. We're trying to be ahead of our of the market to accommodate the needs.
Oh, you just gave me the sentence I wanted for Dimitrios, and thank you. How do you stay ahead? How do you stay ahead of time with the presence of AI in our lives? That's why I told everyone that we're going to come back to AI and how it's utilized by all of us. So, but Dimitrios, how do you stay ahead in architecture?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I have a kind of a double answer, and it's to stay ahead and to stay behind on purpose, right? So stay ahead means to understand what the technology is that's coming down the pike, right?
Yeah.
And that, interestingly, I think for us, my business partner and I are also both professors. We teach 1 or 2 days a week.
Oh, nice.
So actually being in touch with academia has actually been really productive.
Wow.
And it's actually a strong suit here in Cyprus, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And so academia, I think we see the best or the most interesting potential applications for AI coming, and that's where we can situate being a little bit knowledge leaders by knowing that side of it. But then on the flip side, it's to always encourage people to actually take the Cypriot approach and slow down a little bit and actually not get too caught up in the fad of what can be offered by AI because, my industry stands to be erased, right? If we're not careful about protecting notions of intellectual property, knowledge production, design, authenticity, right? All of these type of things, right? And the way that you do that is to, have people be excited about rolling out a yellow trace paper and designing their home with them or designing their office with them, right? And that intimate moment of the act of creating something that then becomes their lifelong home or their office for the growth of their business, right? That still wins every second of every day, right? That beats ChatGPT, beats everything, right? So like we invest in that, obviously, and that's people, that's knowledge, that's great design, right?
Yeah, amazing.
So you have to know the one, and you treat it like a very good assistant. But like we don't ever sell our services based on a technology ever, right? We sell it on my business partnership and our staff, right? And the fact that they have a knowledge base in this stuff, but it's just another tool. And that might be a little bit Luddite, and it might be a little bit less forward, but I think we have to protect the way that architecture is a human art, and in order to preserve what's valuable about it, we have to preserve the human element.
Exactly, I agree, and it's a great pass for Anastasia actually, because we were talking the other day about agents. Like, oh my gosh, agents are worried that AI is going to replace them, and I know that you have your own personal take on that, but I would also like to add in my question. Going back to Talia McKinney, that she told us how she posts on Instagram and everything, and because I love what Sotheby's is doing on its online presence, I would like you to share with us, if possible, what is the platform you find that is working mostly for Sotheby's, plus AI? Is it going to replace the real estate agents at one point?
I think it's a very interesting question, and something that is going to be the topic of discussions for a long time. And I think that we will go through the stages. Okay, I think when it just started, I think the whole industry was panicking because, my God, we will be replaced, everything will be AI, it's more efficient. But I think now we already see that of course, AI here is to stay, and it's amazing. It's such a huge help, like what was discussed at the previous panel. Of course, technology can do so much, and it will save costs, it will save time. So as an assisting tool, I think it's absolutely amazing. But when it comes to the human interaction, and buying property is very human. Your AI will make you a selection of property based on criteria that you think is important. Your logical mind is telling you that, oh, that's what I need to want. But every agent will tell you that the difference between what the client came thinking of buying and what they actually bought in the end, and which was perfect for them, I think the percentage is extremely high. It's completely different. Because that's what the agents will do. That's what the humans will do. They will understand from your verbal and non-verbal signals, from your perception of life, what is really important. And when we come to houses, it doesn't cost 5 euros. Like if you make a mistake, 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 euros, it's okay. You can think it as experience. When we're talking about thousands and hundreds of thousands, the cost of mistake is different. So I think that actually now we can see the turn. We can see even our clients appreciating time that we spent, that our brokers spend with each and every client, understanding what they really need. That's what they appreciate. And I really liked what you said now, that sometimes it's better to stay behind. Because especially now, the technology, the research, I think every week I have companies pitching to us a new product. But when you go deeper, in many cases it's too early. They have an idea, but they haven't done it yet. B, you know what? Yes, let's take the part of it, but let's enhance the human presence. And I think, especially in the luxury real estate, I think it will be even stronger pronounced, because there, the investors, they have less time and they have more clear vision of what they want and how they want it, and only human can help it. But that's my point now. Like I said, maybe next year it will be different. But at the point that I feel very strong that our industry will be dramatically enhanced when we use the tools, but the human touch, the human expertise will stay the key.
You will still need the emotion to sell. We sell on emotion, we decide on emotion, so who's going to make that emotion? AI cannot make that for you. And Panayotis, I'm coming to you. Listening to Anastasia, and I'm sure you agree with Anastasia, how does Limassol Greens adapt to all of this? Like, do you rely heavily on...
Look, in general, sales and marketing are becoming smarter with the use of all these tools, AI tools.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with someone who approached me about using AI agents and interacting with leads and everything, but always it stops at a certain point. Okay, you nurtured the lead, they are willing to come for a viewing, and you speak 42 or 50 or 100 languages.
Yes.
But who is going to take care of the client?
Exactly.
Who's going to have a glass of wine and discuss how they envision waking up in their off-plan villa?
Exactly.
Obviously, a project like this, it requires a lot of off-plan selling. So it's important to transfer this emotion, to make them visualize how they will feel being in that property. And luxury property market, and especially a lifestyle project like Limassol Greens, is not just waking up in a beautiful home and a nice swimming pool and landscape gardens. It's about waking up in the morning, wear your tracksuits, have a run, a quick jog.
Take the kids to school, and the school
someone
has to be
else, our
closed,
concierge service
or a ballet. So it's
our concierge service can handle that, so you can
Thank God.
experience the good lifestyle. So you
Amazing.
can play padel on the trend of the days, and enjoy nice swimming in the morning, then dress up and then go to work.
Exactly.
So this is what it's all about. And some people are comparing sometimes other projects nearby, and I'm like, okay, fair. Depending on the budget, depending on what you're looking at. And you can always do that in a project like this if you are not staying in a resort like this. But you are missing the point. I mean, waking up, entering the car, going somewhere, and then getting out and running and doing all these activities is a completely different concept than just waking up, opening your door, and have everything at your plate.
Exactly.
So yes, I agree with Anastasia. AI tools are helping us a lot. But that's the only
the
thing
human
that
factor is
cannot
needed.
be replaced.
Exactly.
It can, and at the same time, it can be utilized based on the input. You put ChatGPT and all these tools. I mean, you can ask random questions and the output will be rubbish. So an educated professional with knowledge on how to use these tools will have real value out of it.
You said two magic words, professional and educated, which this is what I also love about Sotheby's, that they educate their agents, their associates, members of staff. They know, and because it's not just about promoting a project or doing an amazing presentation, you have to have deep knowledge of everything else surrounding the project, even taxes, which the client is always asking, yields, schools, airport distance. I mean, these are simple things. But Dimitrios, you wanted to add something.
And on this note, it's being educated means you can edit and you're discerning.
Exactly.
Right? And I think this is speaking to what everyone is saying, right? Like what AI does is it actually presents vaster data pools, right? To the point where it's like entropy, right? It's like garbage a lot of the time, right? But you need an educated person to discern the good information from the bad information, right? Like
Totally
a report.
agree. Totally agree.
And the report, the data part of the report, although choosing what data to show is also a decision, but you know, like then presenting what it means, that's going to be more and more precious as there's more and more data available,
Amazing.
right? And we see that, like in Dubai right now, it's very popular, for example, to use an AI architect to kind of like choose your furniture, choose your finishes, choose your, and like it did really well for a year, and then guess what's come back? Architects.
Of course.
Right? And it's because there's just this massive amount of information, and people want someone who's discerning to tell them what they should want.
I see.
Right?
Totally.
And that's really
Yeah.
important.
Just
Yeah,
tiny,
yeah.
because
Oh,
you
I
know
love
what? Also, I think that what is the important part? Help people make decision. Your AI will be agreeing with whatever you want.
That's right.
So like you have how many people we see that just cannot make this final decision between the 3 properties. So they will be running with the AI forever.
Yeah.
Because the AI, what I see, it will always be good. The good points, the bad points. The good points, the bad points. So you're going with all the good points and with all the bad points.
Yeah, I agree. Panayoti, you wanted to add, and Despina, we're going to close with you.
Yes, something I didn't mention before is that, yes, it's important and it helps a lot on data analysis. And our CRM, for example, that integrates AI, it's important that extracts the information that the human eye sometimes misses. Okay, we're busy, and sometimes we overlook some things. And the ideal thing with these tools is that it highlights some things that you might be missing. By the way, you have a tendency of X, Y, Z type of property. And by the way, that's the sweet spot. Or for example, your marketing campaign, it's working best if you are using this or
Keywords.
that keywords.
Yeah.
So things are valuable with the right use, and we are using it internally, but you cannot replace
Human factor,
yes.
and human relationships. Despina, yes, I want you to add your thoughts on this, but I would like us to close and wrap it up because I know they have a coffee break. I would also like to hear your thoughts about, we spoke about a beautiful, successful 2025, but 2026 is coming very, very soon, and I would like to see your opinion and your thoughts on the growth and what's happening. What do you think is happening?
Thank you. Just to add, let's take it a step further for AI. I totally agree with Anastasia. Now, this year, it's a great tool. I want to see AI being a customer service where it scatters, because we're very busy, like you said. It narrows down our choices, and then we have high net worth individuals, but we also have low income individuals that are our clients. Everybody needs a human attention, and they want to feel important. Everybody wants to feel. So I think we should implement and we should welcome AI all the way until we don't lose the human element. 2025.
2026.
And going into 2026, we continue to see a steady demand for both housing and offices. I want to emphasize the local banks have a high appetite for lending and mortgages. Our government is expanding its geopolitical strategy to attract a lot more foreign investments, which brings more companies in Cyprus and other people who need housing and offices and schools and medical and everything. And Sorry, I got a note from somebody. Can I continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on, and we will wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. They're not getting rid of us.
So,
we own the house.
So yes, I see a positive outlook. There is a little skepticism, especially in our industry, with Mr. Trump's tariffs.
Yeah.
And I don't see that directly affecting us, Cyprus, but it will affect Europe, and we are part of Europe.
Yeah.
It will affect the disposable income of Europeans, and that will affect us. I see that as an indirect, but we will see. Yeah. On a closing remark. At Cypriots, we're very excited because we are introducing new products in the market, as we always strive to do so. We are revitalizing the capital's downtown area by 3 high-rise buildings now that are appropriate for ownership, but also for investment. We just acquired a portion of the greenest area in Cyprus, in Nicosia, in Kikos area, for those who know. Yeah. And we are expanding we are growing in Athens, much more also on on the waterfront. We expanded in Central Europe, in Germany. We are going to start our first residential project in London. And we are breaking ground in New York in a couple of months.
Yes.
So
Thank you. So, thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure having you all. And I know everyone needs a coffee right now. So, we're closing this panel. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, sitting here and discussing. Thank you all. Thank you very, very much. You are wonderful.